Good morning and best wishes for all of us. The Honorable Mrs. Rina Bukit SMSC PhD AKCA, Head of the Accounting Department, Faculty of Economic and Business, University of North Sumatra. The Honorable Mrs. Risanti SMSC AK, Secretary of Accounting Department, Faculty of Economic and Business, University of North Sumatra. The Honorable Mr. Associate Professor Dr. Nurhaizal Azam bin Arif from Hiroshima City University, Japan, as our speaker today. The Honorable Mrs. Juwita Agustrisna, SAMSE, Lecturer of Accounting Department, Faculty of Economic and Business, University of North Sumatra, as our moderator today. And we thank you for the presence of Mr. and Mrs. Lecturer. Welcome to all participants of the webinar present today. Praise and gratitude to the person of God Almighty. Thanks to His grace, we can gather at the 19th ProAksi Seminar Talk Series, Changing Global Landscape and Corporate Role for Humanity. I am Vicky Rosalia as the Master of Ceremony, who will be guide to this webinar. Our agenda for the day begins with the opening book by myself, then following with singing the national obligatory anthem, followed by the head of the accounting study program, prayer readings, then the presentation of the material by Associate Professor Dr. Nurhaizal Azam bin Arif, as well as discussion with participants, and the last one is closing. Step on to the following agenda, we will sing our national anthem. All of you are welcome to stand up. Please take a seat. Next, giving a speech by Mrs. Risanti, SA, MSc AK, Secretary of Accounting Department, Faculty of Economic and Business, University of North Sumatra. To Mrs. Risanti, please welcome.
Thank you, Mrs. Vicky Rosalia. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Honorable Associate Professor Dr. Nurhaizal Azam bin Arif, the Honorable and Moderator today, Mrs. Juwita Agustrisna, SAMSE, and our speaker, MC for this webinar, Mrs. Vicky Rosalia, and all of participants. Really, I'm very happy today because this session will make opportunities for us, of course, for students. Thank you so much, as the Prof. Azam, to accept our invitation. This seminar topic with changing global landscape and corporate role for humanity. I hope this is make benefit for us. Thank you so much, and I hope we'll enjoy our webinar today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Mrs. Risanti. Then, our agenda is chanting prayer will be recited by our brother, Dede. To Dede, please welcome.
Okay, thank you so much, Mrs. Vicky. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Let us bow our head for a moment, pray to God Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, so that our ProAksi Talk Series 19 can be pursued to all of us. I will lead this prayer based on the teaching of Muslim, and those who are not Muslim, you are pleased to pray according to each of your beliefs. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin, hamdan syakirin, hamdan na'imin, hamdan yuafi ni'amahu wa yukafi mazida. Ya Rabbana lakal hamdu kama yanbaghi li jalali wajhikal karim wa 'azimi sultanik. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali sayyidina Muhammad. Allahumma ya Allah, today in this beautiful place we gather here bring about and ProAksi Talk 19 series with the theme is changing global landscape and corporate role for humanity. Make this seminar as useful scientist assembly as a medium of sharing useful ideas, knowledge, and experience of scholars, researchers, and students of various disciplines. May the conference we organize today benefit to our life, broaden our knowledge, shine our ideas, and lead us to be successful, productive person, which in turn will boost dignity of our nation. Oh Allah, guide and bless our heart and our mind with the light of your guidance. Impart your supreme wisdom upon our activities. Help us to speak our mind clearly. Help us to listen to each other, respect each other, love each other, so that we are included to the blessed person. Oh Allah, you are the one who can fulfill our dua. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzabannar. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun alal mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you. Next, we enter the main event, namely the presentation of material by our speaker, which will be moderated by Mrs. Juwita Agustrisna, SMSE. To Mrs. Juwita, please welcome.
Thank you very much, Ms. Vicky. Before we start, I would like to ask you, can my voice be heard clearly? Ms. Vicky, yes?
Yes,
All right.
Miss.
All right.
I can hear you clearly.
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to ProAksi Talk Series, the 19th. We have here already with us Associate Professor Nurhaizal Azam bin Arif, PhD. Thank you, Professor, for fulfilling our invitation.
Thank you so
to
much.
give.
Well,
Yeah, thank you very much. I said. And I would like to thank you to Mrs. Rina Bukit as our head of department, and Ms. Risanti as the secretary of our department, and lecturers, the beloved participants. Before we listen to the lecture from Prof. Nurhaizal, I would like to introduce you all guys to by reading his CV. Professor Nurhaizal Azam bin Arif, PhD, was born on the 15th of March 1973. He now teaches in Faculty of International Studies, Hiroshima City University, Japan. His research area is our international business, managing diversity, Japanese M&As, halal industry, and food diversity research. He has obtained his Doctor of Philosophy from Hiroshima City University, Japan, in the area of international business, and his master degree, Master of Business Administration, from Toyama University, Japan, in the same field of study, and his bachelor degree in 1997 from Toyama University, Japan, in the field of business administration. He has taught several subjects for the degree from undergraduate to postgraduate, such as international management, seminar in international business, international strategic management, etc.
Iya, nggak bukan kita ini. Dua satu.
He
Siapa ini?
was the coordinator practicum center to manage student practicum related to the functions activities for 2 years, from 2006 until 2008, and he was also a coordinator executive development center, managing short courses and executive diploma in 2013 until 2014, and he was also deputy dean in UUM, called the Student Development and Alumni Office, in 2015 until 2017. He worked in he has experiences in some firms, such as in Hitachi as a production control executive in 1997 until 2000, in Matsushita Television as an international marketing executive since 2000 until 2001, in the Prodi Manufacturing as a Japanese language interpreter in 2004 until 2005, as a senior lecturer in University Utara Malaysia from 2004 until 2017, and he is now as an associate professor of international business faculty of international studies in Hiroshima City University since 2017 until now. He has worked on several research projects that quite many that I cannot really read it read them all, many publication as well. So to make it shorter, let us just listen to the lecture that will be given by Professor Nurhaizal about the changing global landscape and corporate role for humanity. Professor Nurhaizal, please welcome. The time is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. So you can hear me?
Yes, very clearly, Professor.
Oh, that's good. So you can now you can see my screen, my presentations. Okay.
Yes, we can.
All right. Okay, so Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Allahumma aftah wa anshurna min khazanati ya arhamar rahimin. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Rabbi zidni ilma warzuqni fahma. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina wa ala ali sayyidina. So again, thank you so much for Madam Chairperson and from the University of Sumatera Utara for the accountancy faculty for inviting me to deliver some talks regarding my area of studies, which normally I cover international business. Okay, my area of expertise is international business. My area of study is international business. I'm teaching this in Hiroshima City University currently. So today I just would like to share with all of you. I believe that this topic, maybe everyone already understand this topic, maybe not new, but I try to bring into some might be, I can say, new perspective, or some perspective that might be we less focus, or we have a different understanding about it. Okay, so this is my, I think Madam Chairperson just already explained about me myself. I think it's not necessary. I'm sorry, my CV just now is not updated. Okay, my age still 48 years old. I supposed to be 50 this year. I'm so sorry about it. Okay. All right. So today we got around 5 points that I would like you to discuss with you, and later on I need many inputs from you, comments, questions, whatever from your own perspective. Okay, I would like to hear from you what you think about my presentation today. Okay, so today, the first point I would like to ask you is what happening since then? Okay, what's happening before what's happening, and now what's happening now? Okay, are we in the right path? Okay, as a companies, okay, normally I think your background is accountancy. I think most you're more related to the the company's financial situations, or companies health, and also maybe your performance. Okay, so you're more on financials and accounting. Okay, so but I'm from different perspective, which my subject that I'm teaching now is multinational corporations. Normally we talk about globalization and the implications, and how companies doing or operating with this framework. So are we in the right path? Okay, so this is the thing. I think current situation, we have a lot of things to discuss. We have a new jargon, new words coming in. Okay, like ESG or something that it sound very trendy. Okay, but for many of you are still young, maybe it was the very first time you heard about this ESG. But for me, I have been almost 30 years in industries and academic. I have accounted many kind of a bit experience, maybe a little bit more than you. So I'd like to relate to those my experience, and also from the academic field, what we can view or what we can learn from it, and then what we could learn from academically now. Okay, I think there's a lot of today I would like to discuss one model that brought by Michael Porter to discuss how companies should respond toward the society. Okay. And finally, I hope that we could learn something from the Japanese company. Okay, this also some of the company that I believe can give us a lot of inspirations for us to think on how to move toward a better society. Okay, how companies and societies, environment could live together. Okay. All right. Okay. So today, I would like to bring you firstly toward the world globalization, the landscape of globalization. So now, where I believe that we are in the world 4.0. This point I've taken from the Professor Gamawat. He's a professor in at Harvard University. He has come out with the books, maybe around 10, 15 years ago. It's about the world 3.0. Okay, I think maybe some of you have read about this. So this is what Professor Gamawat have wrote. So I believe, and then I just try updating. Okay, I try updating what he see. Okay, what we could learn from his point of view, and I try to adapt it to some point that might up to date to the current situation. So according to Professor Gamawat, later on we will see this. I will discuss this point again later. Don't worry, I won't go to at this point. So this is the flow that we are in now. Okay. So, and then what happened after the President Trump administration? Maybe people believe Trump is bad guys, but I feel there's a different point that we can view. Trump have tried to correct what has been experienced by America, by the US, and to create another, to create a better US for everyone. Later on, we'll also maybe have time we can discuss about it. So, and then what going to happen? So I will discuss this later on. No need to go. So okay, so let me go first to what is World 3.0? What is this? Okay. Okay, so before we go into the World 3.0, so I would like to share with you where we are now today. Okay, our current situation, we are living in the VUCA situations, where everything is volatile, everything is uncertain, everything is complex, and everything is very big. Ambiguity. We are living in the ambiguity situations. Everything is volatile. Our currencies. Okay, our currency exchange is very volatile. Okay, all right. I think now the appreciation of US dollars versus maybe Indonesian rupiah and Malaysian ringgit and over even Japanese yen, the situation was so volatile. Okay, and then of course a lot of uncertainty. We don't know what's going to happen. Last year there's a war in 2002. War in Ukraine has started. Russia and Ukraine. And now, just suddenly, a month ago, that's another war erupted. There's another crisis erupted in the Middle East between Israel and Palestinians people. So we can't predict what's going to happen. Nobody knows. And in 2019, okay, we has experienced a pandemic. Okay, this is also uncertain. And another thing is a complexity. It's very difficult now because any situations, we need to consider a lot of things. For example, for the companies, later on we'll talk about the companies, how corporate is facing what we call complex situations. Because when business is not only produce goods or services, but now they need to also respond to the stakeholder needs. In other words, we need to respond to the environmental matters, to the social matters, and also governance issues. It's very complex. Companies don't know what to do. I think companies, they are in the midst of very stressful situations. Everything's so complex. They need to respond to many needs that not only business but non-business, non-economical side, like environmental issues, like societal issues, and also governance issues. All right. So this of course has caused a lot of tensions and also incurred a high cost. And then ambiguity. Today I would like to also talk about the ambiguousness of the sometimes maybe we can call ESG. What is ESG? Environmental, societal, and governance. This is it sounds good. Okay, it's this term or this terminology. It sounds and look good but the problem is the standard and what this company is supposed to do is still in very ambiguity situation.
Alisa, tolong Alisa bocor Alisa.
All All right, so today, I would like to explain, what is meant by World 3.0. Okay, first we go a bit historical perspective. So this is been proposed, been explained by Professor Gamawat, what he mean by this World 3.0. So this is according to him, how world has changed, okay? How world has changed, right? So, you can see the emergence here. So this is the period of emergence. So world 0.0 is started the prehistoric time, 2100 years before Christ, BC, and then world 1.0 is what called a world 1.0, the world, the age of enlightenment. It mainly start from 1600 AD, and then world 2.0 is started in the late 80s. In the 80s, right? So this is where the globalization start picking up. And after that, after year 2000, a very short time, you can see the time moves so short, become shorter and shorter. So from 2.0 to 3.0 is only just around 20 to 30 years. Okay, so this is what's so-called a workable, they call it workable world. All right, so what is it about? And then this is among the how he measures this worldview. We talk about the level of market integrations, the geographic structure. Okay, okay, about the geographic structure, government policies, and business strategies. Okay, so this is the thing that normally he see. This is the framework that he called CAGE framework, CAGE. Okay, a cultural C is a cultural distance, G is geographical, A is administrative distance, G is geographical distance, E is economical distance. This is how he measure the situation that we have from prehistoric until now. Okay, so you can see here. Okay, I will explain it later on. No problem. All right. Okay, so this is what happened before. I think I don't need to discuss much. This is how we are starting from the hunters and gatherers. During this time, and then after 2000 BC, around 12,000 BC, where agriculture has started. People has tried to settle down. Okay, where from this we are in what's so-called communitarianism. Okay, there's no such tribalism or such ethnicity come to being at the moment during that time. Okay, from gatherers we have become an agricultural community, and after that the first civilization, the Sumerian civilization, start from the 3000 BC, and after that the Roman Empire started from 27 BC. So this is where local borders, okay, sempadan, the local borders and tribe, ethnic group has become prevalent. All right, so this is the first. We'd like to bring you to the perspective of trade, when the trade started. Okay, when the trade started. So if we would like to brought to the prehistoric, to the historical perspective, so the Mesopotamia. Okay, in India, Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, these two civilization has started their trade around 2600 BC. Mostly they are trading of cotton, textiles, and agriculture. And after that, in 130 years before Christ, there's a trade happened at the time, that what we call a Silk Road. Okay, Silk roads from China, they have went through a land where they call it Silk Road, and they also have a spice road. Okay, we come to Indonesia, to come to Malaysia, and then they move around the world, and then the products or the merchandise has been brought to the Europe. You can see how the thing moved through China, Southeast Asia, India, and then get into Arabia, Persia, and finally ended up in Europe. Okay, so this is a very long trade that until now China tried to reinvigorate, try to rebuild what's so-called this route. Okay, so China has started the globalization far before European did it. Okay, and of course at the time, America itself still not into being. Okay? So what they're trading, so normally from the Roman side at the time, the Western side, they are selling, they are producing glassware, honey, fruits, gold, silver, weapons, animal fur, skin, horse, and etc. Whereby from China, but China at the time is considered the highest level of civilization, where it has many manufactured product like silk, dyes, porcelain, okay, and also the plate. Okay, so porcelain is one of the Chinese invention. Okay, and it's been brought to the Europe. Of course, medicine, spices. Okay, cinnamon, ginger, and etc. And also gunpowder. So this is where gunpowder has started. China has brought it to the Europe. Okay, so this is where the first we can consider is the early form of international trade. Okay, so this is the, just now I mentioned the Silk Road. So, and also how they call it the spice routes, or if through sea, some people call it maritime Silk Road, or we can also call it spice route. Okay, so you can see they came to Sulawesi, Jakarta, and of course Palembang, Sriwijaya, to Malacca, Singapore. And for your information, the Maluku Island is among the earliest country, the first country in the world, the first place in the world that produced nutmeg and cloves. Okay, and this has become, this spice so expensive when they brought into Europe. Okay, that's why Europeans use this as a kind of gold. The value of spices at the time almost at par to the value of the gold and silver. Okay, you can trade it with gold and silver. It's so expensive and so important. All right. Okay. So okay, this is what happened after that. Okay, this is now we would like to bring you toward the, okay. Okay, so this is, later on I will talk about it again. This is where, why suddenly Silk Road ended up. Why suddenly Silk Road finished? Okay, and what happened then? Normally, we not much discuss about what happened after the during the what do you call it, Crusade War between Christian and Muslim in Middle East. Okay, and now current Palestine. Okay, so this has caused the damage to the Christian empire of Roman. Okay, whereby Muslim has get into build up a bigger empire. Among the empire that had been built after the Crusade was the Ottoman Empire. Okay, when Ottoman Empire take over the almost part of the Europe, or we can say that the Silk Road almost ended there. Okay, Ottoman Empire tried to take over the trade to the Europe. So everybody is relied on depending on Ottoman Empire. So they feel uncomfortable. That's why in 1600, countries like Spain and Portugal try to find their own route to get the resources, okay, of that kind of spices and etc. Okay. Before that, I just want to interrupt you. What happening in 1648? This is very important event that we need to understand. This is where the first border of the country come into being. Okay, this is where the first country. Okay, so this is what they call the Treaty of Westphalia in 1648, where before this, there's a clash, there's a conflict, there's a war between religious. Religion, okay? What happened in Europe at the time is the 30 Years' War between the Catholics and Lutherans, okay? In the first place, everything, the issues is religion. But after that, after years, it has turned into a what so-called a political war rather than religion more. Okay, so this is also mark the end of religious control. Okay, so church and the states has been separated, and then this has marked also the birth of nation-state system and the growth of what so-called nationalism. This has turned a phase from communitarian, tribal, and then now we have come into a what so-called a state, nation-state system, like Malaysia, Indonesia. This is what we call nation-state system. Okay, and then this is the development of trade. Okay, the world trade in the world 1.0. This is, we have moved from world 0.0 to world 1.0. Now we are trying to talk what's happening during this time was the development of colonial power. Okay, in the first stage of colonialism, or the first stage of great explorations, okay, in the first place of great exploration, this is what we call a great exploration. Why? Because at the time we started from the Portuguese, and then followed by the Spanish. They has ventured into the east, okay, to find sources, to find the new sources, to find the new sources for the country. Okay, so country, now we are still competing with country and country. Okay, Spain want to become richer and richer, want to become wealthier and wealthier, and also same to Portuguese. So they try to find resource, because this is, okay, I'd like to, since you are students, you are accountancy, from the business perspective, what the company is doing now, they have two perspectives that company, the perspective that company viewing. First is what you call resource-based view. Normally, what is meant by resource-based view? What is resource? Resource is, I call it, people, material, money, and informations, or knowledge. This is what's so-called the resource. So from those days, even from the prehistoric time and until now, the race or the competition between countries and also recently companies is about obtaining the resource. Okay, whether you want to get people, of course, later on you can see how people involved into slave trade. This is about to get peoples. And then number two is about the materials, goods, of course, resources like spices, gold, silver, and etc. And number three is about the money. Okay, money, maybe we can say gold. And then other thing is information. How to gather an information around the world. How people at each places, how they live, what is this nature of everything. This is also has made country become richer and stronger. That thus they have a power for competitiveness, for competitions. Okay, so we start. This is the first place where the first time where colonialization happening is the world by the Western powers. In 1419, it's happened until 1919. The Portuguese empire is very huge. Okay, so but at the time you must remember, you must understand that the reason why these countries went into exploration or colonizing other country, first because of the religion. First, okay, for these two countries, their aims are first for the religion. They want to spread the Christianity toward the world. Okay, and of course, okay, so you can see that a country like Spain and also Portuguese, they even came to Japan, okay? And their aim is to Christianize Japan and also China. But at the same time, they also want to obtain those resources. And of course, what we call it trade. And at the time, the trade method is we call it mercantilism. Okay, mercantilism, which means you gather as much as you can without giving back to the community. This is what's so-called mercantilism. All right, so you can see there's a lot of things, all right, it's happening. And even Malaysia has been also later on in Malacca, okay, Malacca in 1511 has been colonized by the Portuguese. Okay, Portuguese brought Christianity to India and later on to Southeast Asia. So this is the first phase. But the Spanish, what happened to the Spanish? Spanish, they went east, they went west. Okay, so they encounter the current United States, Mexico, and some other countries, and also later on they find Philippines. Okay, they find Philippines. So how Spanish, the Magellan, he has circumvented the globe. How he circumvented? Because he managed to get one of the slave from Malaysia. Okay, at the time it's not yet Malaysia, it's from Malacca. They call it Henry the Black, but in Bahasa Melayu we call it Awang Hitam. Okay, these guys are actually the one who managed to circumvent from Malacca, the whole world, reach Philippines and came back to Malacca. Why? Magellan has been killed in Philippines, so he couldn't finish the circumventions. Okay, they cannot circumnavigate. But finally, is the Awang Hitam who came back. Awang Hitam is a slave who worked for Magellan. That he's the one who circumnavigate the world. This is happening during that time. So we are in the still world 1.0. This is the powers that who came and colonized Indonesia. So we are still in the world 1.0, but this is the turning point where the corporate has came into being. Okay, this is, I consider, the first multinational corporations that been formed in this world. Okay, this is what we call the Dutch East India Company. Okay, Dutch East India Company. At the time, I still while I was kid, when I learned history in my school in Malaysia, I feel why people normally call it companies. It's not. I think it's a British who colonized Malaysia, but not. It's not the British at the first place. And also same to Indonesia. It's not the country, it's not Netherlands who colonized Indonesia, but Dutch East India companies. Okay? Which means we have been colonized by the corporate 400-500 years ago. Okay? So this is the first stock market. Dutch is very smart. Dutch people, they're very smart. There's the one who start first stock market in Amsterdam. Okay, they have formed the first stock market in 1600. Okay, so then later on they try to use the people money, but through investors, to invest for them to come to the east. Okay, to come to the east, because you need to build ships. Build ships is so expensive. So if for personally we couldn't build a ship by for personally. So we need many people to invest. So they managed to form a first stock market in Amsterdam. Okay, so the first stock market, the first investment activities actually started in modern time. In the first place was in Amsterdam. And of course, Dutch people involved in so many investment and even speculations. Among the things that they even speculate is a tulip, the flower, a tulip. Okay, so this is a crazy story. I don't want to discuss much on that. This is how Dutch are very smart. So they came through the world. Okay, and finally they have some alliance with the British. Later on, I will tell about the British. Okay, about how the British came to Malaysia. They are actually their friends, they're alliance. Okay, so they give Indonesia, they take Indonesia and they give Malaya to British. Okay? Right. So, and of course at the time, these Dutch people, they came to Japan. Dutch people is the one who break the stories to the Japanese Toyotomi Hideyoshi at the time. He told him that the Spanish and Portuguese want to Christianize Japan. So at the time, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, Tokugawa Ieyasu become angry. Tokugawa Ieyasu become angry and Tokugawa Ieyasu has closed Japan for foreign incoming. So nobody can come to Japan. You only can trade in the Nagasaki. So these concessions has been given to the Dutch. And for your information, Dutch people at the time is the Dutch East India Company has hired a Japanese samurai to come and fight for them in the Spice Island in the Maluku. Okay. Dutch is very smart. At the time they hired these samurai. Okay, because at the time there's no more war no more civil war in Japan. Samurai has no job to do. Okay, and at this time they've been hired by the Dutch because they are very good in martial arts, and actually they have been paid very high salary. Okay, they used to come and fought in I think it's in Maluku, the Spice Island, where later on Dutch has their place in around Indonesia. So you can see in my slide here, from Batavia, from Indonesia, you can get pepper, nutmeg, maize, clove, and etc. Okay, you are a very rich country. Okay, so this happened. So what happened later on? Who followed suit? British has followed suit in almost at the same timing, that they form a what so-called, they're copying the model of Dutch. They form a what so-called this one British East India Company. Okay, so this is, you can see the flag, almost same like Malaysian flag. I also got surprised. They has the resemblance of Malaysian flag. Okay, so this is when the colonialism is the second power after Dutch. Okay, they come just almost the same timing. This British Empire, British East India Company, this is their aim for invasion, for the colonialism. They aim for 3G. What is mean by 3G? 3G is not your phone connections. It's a gold, gospel, and glory. You can see Spanish, Spain, and the Portuguese put gospel in the first place, whereby gold second. But Dutch and the British has changed it. They put gold before gospel. Okay, so religion becomes secondary, and of course, glory is also maybe become a secondary. Gospel maybe become tertiary. That's why you can see in Malaysia, the number of Christians and other local people, especially the Malays, convert into Christianity is very less, because British not much concerned about spreading Christianity. And also again, same goes to India and also in Africa. Many of British colonies are still upholding their own religion. Okay, so this is the where the first two multinational corporations came into being. Okay, normally people talk about country. This is not only you, even the academicians will talk about the trade. When we talk about international trade, normally we talk trade between countries until around the emergence or the importance of the role of multinational corporations. For your information, multinational corporation and international business is still very new subjects. It has been discussed starting in the late 60s, 1960s. This is where people start understanding, whoa, actually, it's not country who involved much in this, but the multinational corporations, like Dutch East India Company and British East India Company. So this is World 1.0, where the power of the country or of the companies has superseded countries. It's starting, okay? This is the starting point for me. And then you can see what happening in 1900, the World War I and World War II. Why is happening? So like the question is very simple. Not because Hitler want to gain more area. Of course, he want to gain more area for the country, but for what? I hope you still remember that the thing I mentioned before, people are looking for resources. People, money, material, and informations. Okay, at the time, what they are doing, what are they focusing is about the oil. Okay, so they want to get the wealth of the nation, so country might become superior. In order country to grow and become empire, they need an oil to support their industry. And this is where nationalism, military power, wealth of the nation, energy, and technology come into a set of components that derive colonizations. Or now we can put, in other words, that derive globalizations. Okay, globalization not happen just accidentally. It has a purpose. Okay, and then after that, after a year, they come another war, a Second World War II. Okay, the Second World War. Okay, where you can see, you know, this atomic bomb has been dropped in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Oh, before I forget, I would like to tell you that during this bombing, there's Indonesian students in Hiroshima. At the time, Japanese army government has brought 205 students from Southeast Asia, including from Malaya, Java, Sumatra, Brunei, and Myanmar, and including Philippines, to Japan to study in order to develop them as a future leader. Okay, there's a few. I have met few people that you know, the daughter of those people who came to study in Hiroshima from Indonesia. Okay, you can view that. I've been appeared in NHK World TV. They interview me about it. So some Indonesia, but they are lucky. They survived and went back to Indonesia. But two of their friends from Malaya has died during the bomb. Okay, from Malaysia, they have 2 persons from Malaysia who died in the bomb. Okay, so okay, this is World War I, World War II. Because the reason is easy: oil. Everybody want oil. Okay, Japan also. Why Japan went into? Because at the time, Japan encounter a very high industrial development. Suddenly, America stopped supplying or exporting oil into Japan. So Japan get panic. So at the time during the war, Japan only have 3 years of supply. They said if American continue to stop exporting the oil, our industry going to collapse. So they got no choice at the time by looking of what Hitler is doing in the Europe, the war in Europe. So they took an option to also venture into a Pacific war. Okay, by invading Malaya, and of course including Indonesia. The purpose is oil. Okay, the purpose is same, only oil. So this is what happening in the World Point Zero so long. Okay, and then after that, after the World War II finished, so this is where the regime of the current financial situation started, where the Bretton Woods systems, where the currency has been controlled. Okay, and of course there's a history. At the first place, people back up by gold. But after that, people abandoned gold and put dollar as the main currency for exchange. Okay, so this is where dollars come up. And this is, of course, happened not accidentally. It's there may be some planning there. Okay, now, so we just shift from World 1.0 to World 2.0. This is happening in 1980s until 2000. It's very short. So what happening during this time? So this is the rise, or what I call it, the globalization. How globalization happened? First, among the things, the driver of globalization is the internet, the communication systems. Okay, and then what we call also the shrinking world. World getting shrinking, not the real size of the world, of the globe, but the way we communicate. The way we communicate and the way transportations move. Okay, so you can see here due to the introduction of jet passenger, so you can reach Europe within a short period. Okay, so this is what happened. This is what happened, and then you can see the capitalism arise where many of the communist countries has collapsed in 1990s. Russia's have been collapsed. Russia communist regime been collapsed. The Berlin Wall also has been torn down, where the capitalism has taken place. So many countries have started to evolve into a global world, market economy, the specialization, and the international trade has become freer and freer. So people start invest in many countries. So this is where at the time investment came to Indonesia, to Malaysia, to Thailand, to Southeast Asia. We enjoy that because those countries like Japan, they are facing a high value of yen. And of course, they're also facing the trade restriction from America. So they got no choice to get out from their own country to find the country where they can perform a better, efficient resource for production. This is also the same. We are still talking about the resources, people, material, money, and information. In order to get a cheaper labor, they come to Malaysia, come to Indonesia, come to Thailand, and so forth. And after that, later on in 2003, when China has joined WTO and opened up the gate for investors, so many investors from America, from Japan, from all the greatest MNC has rushed into those countries and has caused a few waves of foreign direct investment. So at the time, country, maybe your Jokowi, at the time still not yet Jokowi, so maybe European people, European leaders and Japanese leaders and American leaders came to Indonesia, come to Malaysia, have a talk, discussions, negotiation. Please bring down your tax. Please bring down your tax, so your import tax, so we can import to you. And please bring down the barrier for investment, so we can come and invest on your country. But Indonesia is very smart. Okay, Malaysia are very loose. We open so much. Indonesia still managed to control the importance for their people. Okay, it's not easy to go and do FDI in Indonesia. You need to undergo some kind of joint venture, otherwise it's difficult for you. But Malaysia allow many companies to come and invest 100% freely. So this has happened in 1980s until year 2000. This is what they call the globalization. So after that, what's happened? Okay. So okay, this is I would like to explain to you about the Apple supply chain. Just as simple. So you can see on the left hand side, this is the country that involved in producing your iPhones, your smartphones. Okay, not only China. China only have 349 companies. Japanese company 139. USA 60 companies. Malaysia has 21 companies that producing components for the iPhones. Okay. Okay, there's other companies like Philippines also 24 companies. Okay, Thailand has 21 companies. Singapore 17 companies that also producing the components for iPhone, which means this is what we call the global supply chain or global value chain, which means the interdependency. You still remember I talked about VUCA, VUCA, complexity. We are living in the total complex situation now. To say this is iPhone, American company? No, it's not from America. Of course, Apple registered in America. Or you said made in China. Of course, it's made in China, but is it 100% made in China? No. Some components come from Japan, some components come from South Korea, some components come from Malaysia, Philippines, and Germany, and etc. So it's very complex. So Apple owns this. Okay, so we saw this is Apple product. But to say it came from which country is very difficult. It becomes complex. So this is where the power of corporates has started picking up and become bigger and bigger. And later on, we'll see what's happening. So now we come to the world 3.0, or I feel 4.0. Okay, this is from 2000 onward, where the situation getting very much intense. Okay, to cut it short, why the situation become intense? Of course, among other things, is the formation of this company. You heard about this GAFAM. Google, Apple, Facebook, Google, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, and Microsoft. For your information, in 2023, I just checked just now, Apple brand value itself is around $180.5 billion US dollar. And their market capital is USD 1.52 trillion. It's bigger, much bigger than Malaysia plus Indonesia budget. Okay, which means Apple itself is bigger than a country already. 2 countries in Southeast Asia, biggest country. The most populated country in the world, Indonesia and Malaysia. So if something happened, Apple can buy us. Apple can buy the whole Indonesia and Malaysia by currency, by money, okay, by the values and market capital they have. So which means now, people normally see countries, people talking about countries, but people don't realize that behind those bars, behind those windows is a corporate that are playing their important role in creating the global landscape. Okay, so I don't want to talk more about this. There's many things that we can discuss. So we can see what happened in China, the emergence of China, why China becomes so powerful. Not only China is very good, but because China is also enjoying a tremendous flow of technology and investment into their own country. Within 10 years, China has learned a lot and managed to grapple and climb the ladder and become the world superpower now. And even they are involved in building, again, rebuild a Silk Road that has been invented 600 years ago. Okay? And of course, later on, the world become separated. The Western powers, and what I put here on the top is a BRICS. Okay, BRICS. The BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, sorry. This is another bloc that normally opposing Western's value of capitalism, the US and the Euro. Okay, so this is what I put here, the bifurcated world system. You remember before this, we talked about globalization. Every country become one, every marketplace become converge, become one. But after year 2010, 2010, the situation of globalization has went into a different directions, a reverse direction, I can call it, where they call it the era of semi-globalization plus nationalism. Okay, the world has turned other way around. And of course, after that, the pandemic. Actually, corona pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic is not only a health issues, but COVID-19 has reshaped the world value chain so much. Yesterday, day before yesterday, I went to one companies that producing jeans material. This company, he said, we are in trouble now. Why? I say, why are you in trouble? They say, because before this, many people buying jeans. Okay, but because of the COVID-19, people stay at home. So nobody need jeans. Okay, so the trend of buying, apparel industries has moved to another way. So this is again what we are living in a VUCA situation. Uncertainty is very uncertain. It's very ambiguity. Company don't know what's going to happen next year and next month. So okay, later on also, later on I will talk about this a bit. EV and EV car. What is company? What is ESG? Suddenly it coming in. Okay, but this also for me is still uncertain. We don't know what's going to happen. All right. So this is the world where the world has become divided into what I call here bifurcated world system. All right. Or I call it TikTok versus Instagram. TikTok is made in China, Instagram from the US. Okay. So I think many of you use both. Maybe in Malaysia or in Indonesia we use more TikTok. I don't know. Okay. So this is what's happening now. We use China and also Western values. Okay, so this is what's happening until now. So world have what have Gemawat mentioned just now, the world 3.0. So I I extend it to World 4.0, where the global geopolitics has changed a lot. All right. So I don't want to talk more about this. If you want to question, you can ask later. So this is also the situation. This is currently what is happening. So the three different orders, I would like to explain just at the bottom here, three different orders that currently we are living in. According to the global security order, we are based on America and based USA and US alike, and including NATO. Whereby in the sense of global economic, so we have global power. We have America, we have EU, we have China, we have Japan. Okay, this is 4 economic powers that has a lot of says in designing the world economic landscape. And finally, this is where the situation becomes very, very vague, what we call digital order. Okay, this is not a country that owns this, but it's not run by the government, but by the technological companies. Okay, this is the technological company that has the power of designing the algorithm, technological Cold War. This is what's happening now, or we call it the new globalization, the digital global order, or they call it also technopolar order. So this is what's happening. So company, what we should do, what's happening now for the companies? Okay, so this is a global landscape. I talk about it. The World 1.0, World 2.0, World 3.0, and now World, I can say, consider World 0.0, where the globalization, the free trade have moved into another level of protected but open. Very, very complicated. Okay, so among other things, we can see that corporate is trying to take over government roles. Why I'm saying that? Among other things is the ESG. Okay, so you can see on the right side, work policy, sensitivity, diversity, inequality, education, and etc. And this one, or ESG, this is not run by the government, but this responsibility has been put onto the corporate to do. Okay, which means company is not only making goods, but they need to also spend money to do for ESG, to do for the social activities, to hire people from diverse group background. They need to spend money. So people people happy, of course. As a consumer, we're very, very happy. But we don't understand what happening is the cost of organizing this has increased so much. So I put here the SEC commissioner says ESG reporting to cost 8.4 billion in 2003, up from 2 billion. It almost quadruple increase. So this cost went to where? Many people don't understand. Oh, people are happy. You are using recycle. You are using the bus. This cost has been transferred into consumer. Consumer need to pay higher price. And one thing people not much discuss about it, sometimes this cost paid by people's money from a taxpayer money. Why? Because normally government of Indonesia and government of Malaysia also try to provide subsidy for who want to do ESG, who want to make electric cars, who want to develop. The government provides subsidies, and this subsidy is not from their pocket money. This is from people tax money. So I'm quite afraid that there's something unhappy is doing. Okay, it's going on. So maybe you're asking, what is greenwashing? What is this greenwashing? Greenwashing is kind of, now corporate is very, they don't know what they're doing now. I met a few corporate people. Yesterday I went to the company and I'm asking them, everybody is panic now. They don't know what they're going to do. Why? Because the requirement from the bodies, not government, okay? This ESG is not come from the government of Indonesia or the government of Malaysia. This ESG coming from this security. Okay, security commissioner will set up an ESG standard for each country. It's not ruled by the government. So if you want to be listed in the public, it's a public companies, you need to adhere to the ESG. And of course, you need to spend quite a number of amount of money for the development of ESG at your company, because company don't know. They need to hire a consultant to write for them. This has caused increase in the cost. Okay, why company doing that? Because company try to portray they are doing good. We are doing good to the public. We are doing good to the environment. Okay, we're applying SDGs. We are doing ESGs. With the hope of that the value of the company or the stocks price of the company going up. Is this going to happen? This is why I'm asking in the first place, are we in the right path? Or we just make a performance to show that the company is doing good? But I believe the company itself still ambiguous in the ambiguity. Because remember, we are living in the VUCA. We're not clear. Are these green investment or green initiative going to make a good profit for the companies? You see that now what happening in Europe or even in America, there's a lot of investment that be pulled down from the green energy. Because why? Because it's so uncertain. It couldn't promise a clear benefit, clear profit for the future market. Right. So that's why. So I finish what happening now. I have voiced the concern about the corporate, how corporate try to take over the government, the role. Okay, by doing ESG. Suppose government to take care of the people, but now corporate try to take care of the people. You know, they become so busy now. I don't know whether good products or services because they're busy with those ESG and etc. This is cost money and time, not free. Okay, so what is happening? Okay, another things that we talk from the technological change. Okay, technological change, for example, innovations. It also has a lot of impact, good and bad impact. Okay, good and bad impact. Okay, some innovation have adverse effect to the society. I still remember, I think now everyone using smartphone. You just touch and scroll and etc. But it also causes a problem for older generation. For maybe for our fathers, maybe our grandfathers, grandmothers, they don't know how to use smartphones. And also, sometimes we call it smartphone is user-friendly, but not for disabled people. For example, touch screen is very, very terrible for the people with vision impairment. They cannot see. Those days using a braille by touch and feel the dot of a braille. But now, if we are using those flat screen and touch screen, we can't feel anything. So they cannot use it. Most of them. And of course, normally we talk about disruptive innovation. People will happy about innovations. But please remember, this disruptive innovation has caused a lot of job loss. For example, like in Indonesia, we got what? Gojek or something. In Malaysia, we got Grab. Okay. Of course, some people get job, but some people are losing their jobs. And also in America, we have Amazon. In Indonesia, we got what? We got Tokopedia. Okay, something like that. Tokopedia. In Malaysia also, we have Lazada, we have Shopee. Okay, by emergence of this Shopee, of course, there's some people are benefiting from it, but few industries, few shops need to close down. That's why India, as a country, has blocked the entrance of this mega e-commerce site. So Amazon cannot get into India. India has blocked it, all right? But in America, around almost 6,000 people has lost their job due to the emergence of new technology. It's some good for some people, but it have some benefit. So what we should do now? So what I'm trying to bring today, to learn from academics and also to learn from Japanese, how Japanese people or how Japanese government or Japanese industries try to overcome these, what I can say, obsessions of technology and also the disruption of these innovations. How they overcome it. So on the bottom here, we have some point among the things. What is the real ESG? ESG is good, but by doing a very vague, a very ambiguity, not standard ESG, nobody know what it is. I feel it's very harmful. So, but there's a way that we could learn from academics is by understanding a creating shared values concept proposed by Professor Michael Porter. And then we also can learn from the Japanese Society 5.0. It's a Japanese version of IR 4.0. All right. So let me see. So this is sorry, I skip this. So this is what I mean by creating values. Okay, creating shared values proposed by the Michael Porter and Kramer in 2011, long time ago. That's why I think ESG is not new. Okay, so before this, Porter are very much in philanthropy activities by introducing CSR and etc. But he feel that it's a one-way ticket, no benefit to the companies. So he proposed what so-called shared values by joining what good business that we can create together to benefit the society and also at the same time benefit the business. Like ESG, I believe we only try to portray that we are doing good to the environment. We pay those tax, we do this, we did this, we hire these people, but actually we are not clear of the business value for the company. But I feel even though this CSV is very old compared to the ESG, but it has more significant impact for both society, environment, and also to the business. Okay, so later on I will share the example of this CSV done by a Japanese company. Okay. Okay, so this is the CSV. I don't want to discuss. If you have you want to ask me later on, you can ask. So the connection. So they put here the connection between competitive advantage and social issue. This is very good. ESG never discuss about competitive advantage. ESG is discussed about the normally about the investors' values. Okay, stockholder values, stakeholder values. Okay, they talk about the investment. You put your money, investors put your money, the values in return. But ESG not much talk about the competitive advantage of the company, which means company need to be sustained. If company not sustaining, they couldn't provide you with benefit, or if of course the product and also the salary to the people. So in order for the company to sustain, it's very important to have both benefit of the company's values and profit, economic values, and also the society's societal values. So this is kind of things that normally you can focus, whether environmental impact, supplier access, employer skills, worker safety, employer health. But nowadays they have become so vague. People want to access everything, but this is danger that I think that companies are facing now. Okay. Only big company can do this. Small SMEs is suffering now. Okay. So let we show what we can learn from the Japanese. So just now we have talked about it. Academically, we can employ what's so-called creating shared values to create a values to the customers and to the people. Later on, I will share you with an example of this. So what Japanese company can do. Okay. So this is today I would like to talk about this company, about the Sampo Yoshi. This Sampo Yoshi is a Japanese concept of business. It's not only started today, it has started in 1600. Okay, tahun 1600 already. This concept has started. This Sampo Yoshi has been introduced by the people called Omi Shonin. Omi merchants, they call it. Omi merchants is the group of merchants centered in the center of Japan, in nearby Osaka, okay, in the Shiga prefecture. So this group of people went all over Japan to sell their merchandise and also to buy those merchandise from those areas and brought back to the Kansai and Shiga area and sell it in Kyoto and Osaka. So these people move around the world, move around Japan. Okay, so they're like this. So they're carrying those goods with them. Okay, so the philosophy of this group of people, what they put as Sampo Yoshi. Sampo Yoshi in English in Japanese, sampoyoshi means 3 way of satisfaction. Okay, so the business transaction that they're doing provide the benefit to all stakeholders, to all the buyers, and also to the society at large. The buyer, the seller, and the society. So that's why they call it sampo. Sampo, which means 3 people, 3 parties. Okay, so this is the good for seller, good for the buyer, and of course good for the society. Uriteyoshi, kaiteyoshi, and sekenyoshi. This concept is 1600 years ago. Even before SDG, before ESG is happening, before CSR. Okay. So this is where it comes the value, how they create the value. Mostly these values came from Buddhism. Okay. And of course, when I studied it, I found this also very much same like Islamic values. But one thing I noticed that Japanese people are very serious to convert or to interpret or to imbue the Buddhist way of life into their daily practice, which means doing good. Okay, so that might goes next. And this Omishonin is in 1600, and from this group, they has merged a lot of companies that now still in being. So this is among the company that are still in being now in Japan. They last so long. Why they can sustain for so long? This is one of the questions that I raised. Why Japanese company, you can see in the bottom here, I wrote 33,000 companies are over 100 years. Which means global, it comprises 41% of the global companies that age more than 100 years. So you can see this wako. Wako is woman undergarment, your bra, your underwear. It's a Japanese company. It formed in 1946. It's not that old. But Toyobo. Toyobo, I think there's also Toyobo in, I think in Indonesia. There's a factory of Toyobo in Indonesia. Toyobo is a textile maker. It's formed in 1882. Okay. Most all, of course, more than 100 years. Right? And also Takashimaya, departmental store. Okay, in 1931. Itochu and this Marubeni here is a Japanese trading companies. They has a business all around the world. Itochu and Marubeni, I think even Indonesia also, they has many joint venture partners. And you can see here the Nishikawa. This is a company that still survive until today, which has been formed in 1566. Okay, almost 500 years ago. Okay, so this is why Japanese company can sustain until this long. This is what I believe, because of the corporate values. They has a corporate values like this, that they're only not sustained for themselves, but they try to make everyone happy. Okay, and of course they has limitations. Okay, not only by sacrificing their own money, but also by bringing the mutual benefit of each other, a win-win relationship. Okay, so I think this is very much resemble to the shared values concept that proposed by Michael Porter and Kramer in 2011. Okay, so this is CSV SDGs. Okay, and then I would like to share with you. This is how Japan did. This is at the country level. Okay, all around the world, I think many of you understand or happen to heard about IR 4.0. I think in Malaysia also, people are so eager about IR 4.0, disruptive innovation, and etc. at the time. I think 5 years, 6 years, 7 years ago, people are talking about IR 4.0, disruptive innovation. People are so obsessed with it. But one thing I noticed, Japan also focusing IR 4.0, but with their own perspective by developing what they so-called Society 5.0, which means, in simple manners, that technology and man should live together. Technology should enhance people's life, not replacing people. Okay, But this is a bit different from IR 4.0. Out of IR 4.0, try to replace what's happening. For example, okay, I think I did mention about what happening with Amazon. Okay, he has demolished around 60,000 jobs. Why? Because he had taken place by developing a platform for people can trade on the platform virtually, online, cyber, which means the actual shops has to be closed because they couldn't compete with the scale that Amazon provide. Okay, so this is harmful. It's not working with the people. It's not working with the society. It's harmful to the society. Okay, but Japan feel that technology should be developed for the benefit of the people. Okay, try to improve, try to innovate from the stance of people. So that's why instead of putting IR Industrial Revolution 4.0, they put what so-called Society 5.0. Okay, because Japanese is facing issues with these aging populations. So how to support those aging people? So recently they has created what so-called they still on trial. Delivery by using drone deliveries, right? And of course, etc. at the workplace. Okay, so the robot that can help people to enhance their field, assist people to do job, not replacing people. Okay, so this is the I think the last part that I've been discussed. So what okay, so this is the one of the shared values that created by two companies. First is this is my last slide. Okay? So this is by Mizuno. You know Mizuno, sports shoes, sports attire. This is in Vietnam. Okay, this case in Vietnam, Mizuno has introduced a what so-called hexagon program. Okay, Mizuno is not an organizer. It's not sport organizer. Mizuno is a sports attire, sports shoes makers, sports equipment. They are not a company that organize events. But why they did this? I met with the people, with the person in charge who developed this program in Vietnam last 3 years. When I've been there in Vietnam, I talked to these people, to these Japanese managers that developed this hexagon program. What is it? Why he come into this program? Because one time when he went to many times, okay, he went to the Vietnamese school. What he saw there is students are not happy. Their faces are very sour, so stressful. And he become unhappy. I couldn't sell goods to these people, to these students, because they seem unhappy. Okay? And he studied why these students are unhappy. Because they have been put into the classroom. Don't have much place to play. The education system at the time in Vietnam was so rigid, mainly a classroom base. So, and then they come up with program and they propose to the Ministry of Education of Vietnam to develop a sports for the children. And then they get a green light to handle this program, and later on you can see the smile on the face with the students. Okay, so this is what so-called a creating shared value between school students and also Mizuno. And in return, these schools and Vietnamese people are buying Mizuno goods of shoes, attires, and also sports equipment. So this is, for me, what I can conclude this as a creating shared values between companies and also the societies. For me, this is another example of real ESG, okay, a social part of it. So there's another example of Renaissance. Renaissance is a company that operating gym, okay, for sports training gym, all around the world. In Japan, they has a very huge branches all over Japan, and of course, they also venture into international market. Okay, they also has their presence in Vietnam. So what they encounter, what the thing they can help to improve the life of Vietnamese people is by introducing a swimming school. Why is this swimming school suddenly come out? Because it has been reported in Vietnam, there has many water incidents. People lemas, mata lemas. This is a huge societal issue in Vietnam at the time. So they said we must try to do something. And then because they have a gym, so they try to build a pool, swimming pool in the gym, and also at the same time provide the training lessons for the children and also adult in Vietnam. Before this, there's no training in Vietnam regarding to the swimming, because many of Vietnamese people don't know how to swim, because that's why they drown. Okay, so this is my final my final explanation. Slides that I share how Japanese government companies has tried to incorporate technology into a societal benefit, which in turn create the shared values between the companies and the society. Okay, so I think that's all from me. So now I would like to pass my button back to the Madam Chairperson. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor, for giving us such an interesting and very informative talk. I'm the one who who's not really interested in historic actually, but you deliver such a very interesting historical things for us, something that I get, and it is new to me that it is not the company, it is not a country who
Yes.
colonize us, it's a company.
Companies.
It's something new for me. Okay, thank you so much, Professor. And now we come to the Q&A session. Those who would like to ask questions, please press the hands up button, or you can type in the chat box.
It's okay, bahasa Indonesia also, bahasa Melayu also, Japanese also
Yeah.
okay.
Japanese also okay.
Feel free. Jangan.
Bahasa Indonesia
Boleh.
nggak masalah, boleh. Ada yang mau bertanya, adik-adik mahasiswa, dipersilahkan.
Mungkin saja.
Any
I
question?
have
No problem.
a discussion, Doctor.
Okay, sure, please.
So this is some kind of a small discussion, Doctor. So when we saw the condition of our region, especially Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, so we realized that if we saw the development of Japan, how they create value. Actually, they're not in this point. In my opinion, Japan is not create technology anymore, but more value, I think. But how about in Indonesia, in Malaysia, and also Thailand, maybe Cambodia, Vietnam, and our Southeast Asia region, Doctor? So are we ready to face or implement the 5.0 society?
Yeah.
Your thought, Doctor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for such interesting questions. So I believe that I don't know very much about Indonesia. What I can say from the Malaysian perspective, the problem with our countries, we have no power actually. Okay, we don't have much power. Where I think government are very much in dilemma. Maybe they try. They of course they know the problem that the people is facing. Okay, but the problem that they're facing now is the corporate colonialism. Okay, the world is leading not only by countries but by the corporate. For example, in case of ESG or SDG or some things, that we can't go against it. Okay, we can't say no. We have no word to say no. We must implement. If they push a green agenda, then we need to follow. If they say IR 4.0, we need to follow. But Japanese are very smart. I can see even in G7 summit among the advanced country, Japanese are very they become a bit reserved. They, I would say, they don't just jump to the bandwagon. They say, okay, we have our way to do it. They try keep. Sometimes that's why I've been to interview few companies that have present for more than 300 years, 350 years and 400 years. One thing I noticed from this company, they just focus on their core business. And of course, they develop, they do innovations, but they are not so much focused on what the trend that's happening. For example, like ESG, like diversity, okay, like this kind of what to say, additional or some push from some people. They are not that because the Japanese people are very smart because they try to understand. Okay, if they don't understand, they won't do it.
Right.
Yes. Like
Yeah,
but
that's
the
point.
problem, the problem is we feel it's it's trendy. People will do it. You look
Yes.
cool. People say ESG, yeah, that we do ESG. So, but nobody
Yes.
understands what is ESG. So for the company, you got you got no choice. If you don't know, you need to hire a consultant. You pay a lot of money to consultant, and this causes turn to the consumers. And sometimes I think I did mention that even countries also provide. I think Indonesia also provide a lot of fund for the green energy.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, this is people money, and where it goes to the multinationals, the world consultant. Because even Indonesia, I don't think so. Indonesia, Malaysia, and any Asian countries understand the technology that relate to the green energy. And last 2 years, last 2 days, I went to the companies, and I asked them. This is a company that making the jeans material for jeans, and asking them, are you doing ESGs or recycle? They said yes, but terrible,
Right.
because the recycle cost is so expensive.
Of course.
Yeah, and I'm asking them how much. They said 1.5 times higher than normal.
Wow.
For example, they said they're working with Uniqlo jeans.
Uniqlo, right? Uniqlo.
Yeah. Currently in Japan, Uniqlo is selling jeans with the price of 3,900 yen.
Right.
Okay? But they said, if you want to use a recycled material, can you sell it 4,900 yen? This is the reality that faced by many companies that forced to recycle the product. Is cost increase.
Yes.
Cost increase. That's why. But who benefit? This is the problem. But I think, of course, green energy, ESG is good, but in reality, is cost consuming, and also is very vague.
Yeah.
We don't have a technology. Then we need to hire consultant. We pay much money to consultant. So that's why this is because I think we need to study Japan. We're not following Japan technology, but try to study why Japan or Japanese company can sustain for over 100 years because of this concept. They know they're doing what they understand, not doing what people doing. Understand?
Yes. Of course. Agree, Doctor.
Yeah, the problem is many of our companies, we try to catch up the trend. Okay, we copy.
Yes.
In
We looks cool and following the development, right?
Yes. I think in industry also, in academic, we have this theory they call isomorphism.
Right.
Isomorphism. We are copying other doing. Okay, so this is the problem with industry. But Japanese, they are very smart. When I ask them, they ask me back, what you understand about it? Because they don't understand, they say. So because it's vague, because it's ambiguity, because it's uncertain, so they refrain from doing it.
All right.
Even though in the case of LGBTQ, Japan also getting a lot of pressures.
Right.
but the government still put on hold. They say we need to study first. We need to study first. We need to study. Too many countries angry with Japan now. LGBT,
Yes.
LGBTQ community very angry with Japanese government.
Right.
Yeah, because they want to maintain their values first. This is the most important. The majority, the value of the majority, instead of putting up using up the minority values as the main values. So this is more, I think, the root of business or the root of economy first is values.
Right.
That's my point. Did I answer?
So it means that value they have to make welfare for the community, right, Doctor?
Yes. In other words, we can say we should work to settle the community problem that we can
Right.
that we has capacity to do.
Mhm.
Okay, but now the problem is that we don't have capacity to control environment. We don't have capacity to control societal issues. Okay,
How about academician research, Doctor? As we mentioned before, as you mentioned before, that all of the strategic by the government and the corporate should be for the problem solving for the community. How about the academic research in Japan?
Academic also very focused. Okay, for example, I'm in Hiroshima City University.
Mhm.
So mainly researchers in this university are focusing on local issues.
Oh.
Yeah, like in my case, I have with my team, I'm studying the Hiroshima companies in Hiroshima that that has their overseas business. Okay, how the Hiroshima small and medium companies expand their business overseas. We are not studying the big companies, but we are focusing on the local companies. Okay,
Right.
and also some of my friend that involved in politics, he study our local baseball team. They're writing the history of our local baseball teams, and also many of even the arts faculty also doing the same. We try to involve in the community-based activities. But I think Indonesia also have that like kind of magang or something.
Right.
That also,
Exactly.
I think Indonesian models very good. I really admire that activities that Indonesian universities is taking. Last time I was in UUM, we want to send students to Indonesia, and Indonesian student coming, and they call it this magang. Wow, I saw it so good. This is very good model that you involve in society. But Malaysia, the problem is because we are a small country, because everything is controlled by the government. We need to listen to the government. Malaysian university have no says. I talk to Malaysian people. University have no says. Otherwise, they can only do is to follow what government asks them to do. Which means you're limited. You limit your research area. Okay, you cannot do what you like, but you must do what have been told to do.
Right. Agree, Doctor.
Yeah. But this situation is not in Japan. Japan, you have much more freedom. For academic to endure, to involve, to embark any kind of research that you interested in.
Yeah. Right. Is there any KPI to achieve, Doctor?
Yeah. No.
Is
We don't
there
have
any KPI?
We have, but not that strict. Not that strict.
Maybe Madam Juwita already smiled, Doctor, because
I understand. My friend,
quite
my friend in Malaysia is so stressful. The problem this is why we are looking for rankings. What we get from rankings. I asking my friend in UM, now you have rank high in the world level. You have many accreditation. So what you get?
Then what? Yeah.
You don't have even the money. Also, you need to beg for the government to provide you with the grant. You have done. You have spent so much. You have done so much, and yet you got nothing. That's why I think you need to go back to the ESG, the same issues.
Right.
We don't understand actually what is ranking about. What is the benefit of ranking? We just assume. If you rank high, people will come, but nobody come. The same people not come. Okay, from neighboring countries and from Muslim countries, the only people say. Okay,
Right.
so this is what I think. That's why I was in UM for almost 12 years with UM. I've done so many things, and toward my last years with UM, I feel that not only UM, I think other Malaysian universities are the same. They are doing for the
Thank you
Question
so
from
much.
me, Doc- One question from me, is it okay?
yeah, sure, please.
Back to the ESG practice in Japan. That you have said in Japan companies, they don't really, correct me if I'm wrong, Doctor, they don't really fulfill what the ESG required, is it?
Yeah,
Doesn't it?
yeah. Normally ESG, I also still it's still very unclear about ESG. But recently what I understand, ESG is actually for the investment purpose.
Okay.
Okay, for example, you want to be ranked, you have a matrix of ESG. For example, if you want to get investors to invest in your companies, you need to achieve some criteria of ESG. Because this is ESG is not a business strategy for me. ESG is not the business strategy. ESG is more on the stock values. Okay, the stock values of the company. Normally, when people want to find investment, like bricks, like you have many investment fund or asset management companies, they will advise you which company you can invest. Among the indicator, they're looking at ESG indicator. I think this is the purpose of ESG, just a KPI.
Wow,
Okay,
yeah.
for those who company want to register or want to be listed in the public listing as a public listed companies, or if you some company that you want to make a loan to get a fund from financial funder, then they will look at your ESG. Are you doing not? Are you doing ESG or not? What is your scores? There's a scores. Okay, this is mainly is been debated in America. Elon Musk, the owner of Tesla and X company, he said that this ESG is a scam. Why? Because they said some companies, even though they are doing bad for the environment, but they get higher scores for ESG.
Okay, right.
So this is I think that's why Japanese company, maybe the company want to involve in international activities, for example, get funding or selling product to EU, Europe, for example, they need to fulfill this ESG. And also regarding the company that I met, the company that make jeans, they said every year there's a group from European companies came and visit them and do auditing. Okay, how many hours your people, your workers is working, whether everything they check, whether like a government, hours working, you provide a good place for your workers. Okay, the sound, the noise, and etc. They work. That's why I tell you just now, corporate has tried to take over government jobs. This is so frightening, because they said even government don't ask about it, but the foreign auditors came and asked about it.
Yeah.
So that so stressful for the companies, especially small and medium companies, SMEs. They need to pay, all the expenses, the air tickets, hotel, everything need to pay by the companies. Yeah, this is why I think sometimes people misunderstand ESG. Of course, ESG is good. You're supposed to have environment, not doing harm to the environment, be good to the people. This is common sense. I think this is very common sense. Those days we have ISO already, ISO 14,000. We already studied about it, but suddenly people try to make money by introducing new product, new standards, and force companies to follow it. This is, that's why the history matters. I think.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, Professor.
Yeah.
Any other questions, probably
Yeah.
from students? If not, it's almost 12. We still have 9 minutes actually.
Yeah. You have any question? No problem. Boleh tanya dalam bahasa.
If
Anything.
there is, ya boleh tanya dalam bahasa Indonesia atau bahasa Melayu.
Yeah. You want to ask anything about living in Japan also, no problem. If you want to come to Japan.
Ada yang mau berniat kuliah di Jepang mungkin boleh tanya Prof.
Boleh datang
Ada kira-kira
S2 dan S3 ya.
Iya. Malu-malu nih Prof.
Malu-malu.
Adik-adiknya. Kita tutup aja mungkin ya Pak. Ya Prof ya mungkin bisa kita tutup aja. Diskusi kita hari ini sangat menarik. Terima kasih atas new insight and knowledge for me very much. Akhir
Bidang yang
kata
besar.
saya mau berterima kasih. I would like, yeah,
Sama-sama.
I would like to thank
Terima kasih
you
sudah bagi
very
peluang.
much, Professor. And I'm sorry for all mistakes that probably I said or have done during guiding this talk series. And hopefully we can see you in another opportunities, Dr. Professor.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you very much. I give it back to Mrs. Vicky as DM.
Thank you, Mrs. Juwita. I'd like to say thank you for the speaker and our moderator today. This is the certificate from Accounting Study Program to our speaker and our moderator today. Awarding of certificate that will be given directly by the Accounting Study Program to our speaker and our moderator today. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And the certificate for our moderator today, for Mrs. Juwita Agustrisna, SMSA. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We will take this moment to take our photo session together. Please prepare yourself and give the best smile.
Please open camera, all participants.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. We have come to the end of the event. Thank you very much to the speakers as well as the participants who have attended this webinar from start to finish. Hopefully, the knowledge gained can be applied in everyday life. I, as the MC of the event, apologize to the wrong words and action. Finally, thank you and good afternoon.